In this video, we are going to draw an ER diagram for this scenario. So this is the question given. A college offers course in different stream. In each stream, various students are enrolled. Each stream is divided into 8 semesters and each semester is divided into 2 sections. In each semester, various subjects are taught. One subject is taught by at most one lecturer, and one lecturer can teach more than one subject. So this is the question given to us, and please note that this video is about how to approach such ER diagram questions in examination. This question has been asked in TU's exam. So this is not about how do you draw in a real project, in a real world project, because the scenario in a real world project is slightly different. But in examination, you are given certain conditions and you have to act based on those conditions. You cannot ask anyone, you can make a few assumptions, but in a real world scenario, in a real project scenario, there are many things, much more than this, which you have to consider, and in this one you can ignore a lot of things and make some assumptions. So obviously you have to take care of the time frame you have for writing this in examination. So based on that, we'll start our approach. So let's first, the first step should be identifying the entities, of course. So in this question, the first entity is stream, and in each stream various students, this is another entity, are enrolled. Each stream is divided into 8 semesters and each semester is divided into 2 sections. So this is another entity. In each semester, various subjects are taught. Again, subject is an entity. One subject can be taught by at most one lecturer. Again, lecturer is another entity, and one lecturer can teach more than one subject. So you might be thinking why I did not underline this one and this one as entity. This can be considered entity, college and course. I did not include course because the question has presented stream as a course. Okay, the stream, instead of calling it in the sense science, arts and commerce, it has divided the stream itself into 8 semesters. So this is almost the same thing as course. The place where there should have been a course, they have given a stream, so the stream works as a course in this scenario. So I did not include this one because this is almost same to this, and I did not include this one, this college, here, because the college is a database here. College can be considered a database because in this question they are talking about only one college. This college is, in this scenario, in this database design, we do not have multiple colleges. This is how the question looks like. So I did not include college as entity. If you are given question related to a bank and you have to design database related to database design related to a bank, a particular bank, then you in most of the cases we do not need to include bank as an entity. Or if it is a university database, then we do not need to include the university. But if the database is about a collection of entities, an entity set, in that case you can consider an entity university as an entity or bank as an entity. So in this case I am not including college. Okay, so these are the entities we have figured out, and we will act based on that. Let me start with stream first. So here stream is an entity. Let me draw a rectangle around it. Okay, this is one entity, and similarly we have student, and always it is better to write singular nouns. Instead of students, I have written here student, and instead of streams I have written here stream. So in ER diagram, a singular noun is preferred. And let's write, I'll move it slightly. Semester is another entity, and we also have subject, apart from this we have lecturer, and we also have section, which is, let me write it slightly here, which works as an weak entity, because this is completely depending on semester. So let me draw a double rectangle here, and let me start with this relationship. This relationship we can write to represent the relationship. We are drawing a diamond shape here, and let me draw double lines here, because this is a weak relationship. This is an identifying relationship for the weak entity section. And you can write a verb, like you can write anything here, divided into or contains, any word is fine. Divided into, generally verbs are preferred, has, includes, contains, this kind of verbs are preferred here. And this one also has total participation, because this is a weak entity and this is an identifying relationship. Okay. Now let's draw the relationship between stream and semester. Okay. Again, you can write a verb something like as, and draw the relationship here. Yeah, and now let's move to stream and student. Here you can write something like enrolls in, okay, this is the relationship between student and stream. And again we have certain more relation. Semester includes multiple subjects, yeah. Here we can say there is total participation, so I can draw a double line here because student must be enrolled in one of the streams available. And there is also a relationship between lecturer and subject as mentioned in the question. Subject is, you can say, taught by lecturer. Okay, subjects are taught by lecturers, and though this is not mentioned in the question, this is something very obvious because lecturer teaches student. Okay, there is also a relationship, though this is not directly mentioned. This is something very obvious, that's why I am drawing it. Otherwise, particularly in examinations, you don't need to write or draw all the relationships possible, but this is something very obvious, and that's why I am drawing it here. Teaches lecturer okay. Now let's look into the cardinality. We have drawn almost all important relationships and entities as mentioned in the question. This relationship here, stream to student, this is one to many, so let me write one and n here, because in a particular stream there are obviously many students, but one student cannot enroll into more than one stream. And stream to semester is also one to many relationship, because one stream can have, or one stream has multiple semesters, but the same semester cannot belong to more than one entity, the same semester for that particular stream. And student and lecturer, this is many to many relationship, because one lecturer is teaching multiple students, and also the same student is being taught by multiple lecturers, for different subjects. So this can be many to many relationship. Another one is lecturer and subject. So in this case, this is mentioned clearly in the question that one subject is taught by at most one lecturer, and one lecturer can teach more than one subject. So we don't need to make any assumptions here. We can directly say this is one to many relationship. This is mentioned clearly in the question itself. And semester to subject, this is also one to many, one semester, many subjects, but that particular subject, a particular subject cannot belong to, generally speaking, cannot belong to more than one semester. Okay, so after doing this much, we can draw. Okay, at the top something I missed, but it's good to write. You have to write something like ER diagram for college database. Okay, because this is something we are writing for the college, you should write something like this at the top. And besides, after doing this much, we can write some of the basic attributes for each entity. For example, stream can have stream ID, and this is going to be the primary key for the stream, and stream name, and this can also be uniquely identified. Let's not say uniquely identified, but something very crucial, called as year of starting or year of start, so that we know which batch is this. Okay, but since this is not mentioned in the question, it's not mandatory to write, but this writing this makes sense because of that. And similarly, in other entities, we can have the minimal attributes. Since they have not mentioned anything about attributes in the question, we can write the minimum attributes. Like in this one, you can write section name, like section A, section B, the possible values, and this is going to be attribute of a weak entity, identifying attribute of a weak entity, so we have underlined it. And for semester, we can write something, semester name, semester ID. So you get the idea. These are some of the very basic attributes that we are writing. Subject name, subject ID, this can be primary key here, and in semester this could be the primary key. Lecturer name, lecturer ID. And finally we can have student ID as primary key for a student, and one more attribute, student name. Okay, this much is fine, this much is good enough for writing answers in examination if this kind of questions are asked. And if you want to write even better answers, then it is good to after drawing the diagram, it is good to write something like assumptions. Okay, assumption, what are the assumptions made in this question? Okay. What are the assumptions we made? We made assumption about attributes of each entity. So you can draw a table like structure here and write entity attributes. Okay, for example, student, and what are the attributes we assumed here? Student ID, student name, and so on. 4 other entities you can write. And apart from this, if you have made any other assumptions, for example, we have assumed that a semester can have multiple subjects, but subject cannot be, this is something very obvious, but still these kind of assumptions you can write at the bottom of the answer. Okay, writing assumptions may not be very necessary in this particular question, but there are other questions where it is good to write down whatever assumptions you have made. Okay, then thank you guys for watching this video.